All right, Shalom, Shalom. Barakatah Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles, elder bishops here at Great Millstone. Shalom to you brothers that's pushing the work in truth with all sincerity. All right, so I don't have a title as of yet for this one, but this will essentially be a reply, to the elders, to a point in this elders video. All right, Elder Yeshwamba, News and Prophecy, Omens, Babylon 250 Plague, and the Fall of Edom. And he plays Trump's basically his declaration against those that speak about the truth of what has been done here in America as far as the so-called white man Edom is concerned, and their works, their evil works, all right, and what they have been doing over the centuries, you know, and I kind of want to build off of that, add a few precepts. Some of the precepts that I'm gonna be reading is some of the precepts that the elder had read in you know, his lesson. But I want to, just make a point. Also, hopefully this is, somewhat of a skillful adding. But Esau, is his response to, this reproach, this, the truth coming out on him. All right, he wants to pretty much go after anybody who is speaking against him, and it just proves one thing, that this man is grieved. They're grieved, man. You know, they're grieved at the fact that the truth has come out. They're grieved at the fact that the world knows who they are. And that's the Lord's doing. And the Lord said he was going to uncover, their skirts. Okay, let's get that since I mentioned it. This is let's see, Jeremiah. All right, let's do 49. Or is it 48 and 12? I think it's 48 and 12. No, it's 49. 49. All right. Here we go. Jeremiah 49:10, it says, "But I have made Esau bare." Okay. "I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself." Right. You can't hide yourself. You're the wicked. And the world knows it now. All right. And that's the Lord's doing, man. You know, that is the Lord's doing. Amazing how the Lord, how he exposes the wicked. And how, as the scriptures say, man, you cannot mock God. That what your man sowed, that shall he also reap. This man is mad because he's been exposed. The lies don't stick anymore. All right. Lamentations 4:21, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked." And that's what's happening. You made yourself naked. You can't blame nobody but your damn self. You see, you've been parading yourself around and destroying, being destructive, and being a bully in the earth, being unjust, and you thought you were gonna just get away with it. And as the scripture say in Isaiah 46, the elder, again, some of these precepts the elder have already covered in his video. But I just wanted to do a response, man, because it was on my spirit to do so. He didn't consider the latter end, man. He didn't consider the latter end. He didn't consider that, man, I might, this might backfire on me in a way, in a big way. Okay. Right. So let's go back, Jeremiah 49. Then I want to get 2 Thessalonians. Let's just cue it up really quick. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. All right. And this is, all stemming from the Great Awakening, his reaction to it, and the elder did a lesson on that. I got to finish that one. Revelations 11, because I was trying to touch on this, maybe last week. I don't think I, hit it the way I wanted to, but how the Spirit of the Lord works. You know, but Jeremiah 49 again and 10, it says, "But I have made Esau bare; I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, all right, and his neighbors, and he is not, because you're gonna fall, man. All right, your position in the earth is gonna be taken, you know, and we're seeing that he's trying to rewrite his legacy, which again, this is it's just shameful spewing upon his legacy. And his response to it is to what? Cut off all avenues of truth, declare war on those who come upon, bring out this truth. Okay. So leave thy fatherless children, I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me. For thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? And that's dealing with Esau. All right. Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. Right. You're going to drink of the Lord's indignation, his right cup. I mean, his the cup at his right hand. You're going to drink down his judgment, just like we have. Okay. So how do I want to do this? I'm going to get Revelations 11. Then I'm going to play that video, that clip, because it's a declaration. It's a war against us. And we're here, man. Persecution is coming, but also salvation is coming, man. Revelations 11 and 11, and after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet. And great fear fell upon them which saw them. Okay? And us standing on our feet, what? As the scriptures say, then shall a righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of our labors. Right? And it says here, Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Who the righteous men? Then shall a righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. Right? So we're standing in great boldness because what? The Spirit of the Lord has risen upon us, right? And spiritually enlighten us to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us, right? And now Esau's response to it, they're in fear. They're in fear. Okay? Okay, and it says it. What? That we're grievous to behold. And then let me get this one, and then I'll go into that video. All right. Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 10. It says, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs, of the age. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. All right. So they're gonna use the laws of justice to go after the poor, to make war against the poor. Okay. Because what? They feel as though that nobody is going to be able to protect us, and just like the bullies they have always been, they're going to murder and you know and bully their way into silencing everybody against them. But what they don't understand is that this is the Spirit of the Lord's mouth which is pulling them down. Okay. And their response to it is to rewrite history, to go after anybody that speaks truth against power. And ultimately, they never repaired what they've done. So you can imagine the arrogancy, the proud arrogancy from these devils, man. It's on a level that we've never seen. They haven't even started. They haven't even started to repair anything that they have done. But they're going to erase their history and make it seem as though that their ancestors never did anything wrong, right? Therefore, let us lie and wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objected to our infamy, the transgressings of our education. Okay? And what? He wants to go after those that speak uprightly. Okay? He wants to go after those who was rebuking him, who is calling them out on their evil works. All right. So it says he professes to have the knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. Right. He was made to reprove our thoughts. See? So we were proving their very thoughts. We're correcting their very thoughts. And here's the point of all of this. He is grievous unto us to behold, for his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. Right? And so we're grieving him after because of this testimony, because of this, this word that's against them. All right. Revelations 11:11 again, and after 3 days and a half, which represents 350 years. All right. And that's from 1619 to what? To 16 or 1969. From 1619 to 1969. And within that time frame, they have been oppressing us on levels that the world has never seen. Of people oppressing other people. Okay? Completely treating us like animals, made laws to murder us, and even systematically deprived us and kept us in, ghettos. All right, kept us from obtaining any wealth, destroyed our cities after we built wealth. All right, 100 years ago, and in many different points in history, it wasn't just Black Wall Street. Right, there were black massacres happening all over America at one point in time because of, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, but mainly Negroes were getting up and making a living for themselves, and they couldn't stand it. They didn't stand for it. All right. So the Spirit of God, back here in Revelations 11:11, it says, and after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. So they're in fear because what? The Spirit of the Lord has risen us up from that spiritually dead state. Okay. Okay. And they don't know what to do with themselves, but their response is, because this is grievous unto them. Here, and I'm going to show you their response. Okay. All right. Let's see. The 2 Thessalonians 2:8. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. That's what's happening here. And that's why they hurt. They're big hurt. And they're losing it. And they're just going to go after all factions of those, or all factions who speak truth to power, man. Right? And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So that's what's next for this devil. See? Them speaking wickedly concerning oppression. This is very offensive. This is very hurtful too. I'm very hurt. I'm seriously, I'm very hurt, you know, and I'm sure the Lord is as well. And more so the Lord more than anybody. Because the disregarding of the hateful, malicious work that they put in to obtain this America. You see? And if anybody says anything about it, you know, they got a problem with it. They want to eradicate, right? And they're going to detain and go after those who speak truth. Okay, one more before that, right? Habakkuk 2:16. And it says, thou art filled with shame for glory. Thou also thou also, and that's Esau, Edom. And part of you drinking what is taking on the judgments of the Lord. You're going to be judged, and you're going to have to drink that cup. So where does it start? It's the shameful spewing is where it starts. Us condemning you for the evils that you've done in the earth, right? And let thy foreskin be uncovered, because that's dealing with your disobedience and hatred towards God, right? It says the cup of the Lord's, all right, Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. So that's what's happening. And that's why this is his response. All right. Fair use. No, I'm playing. But yeah, anyway, fair use, because I am playing. uh, you know, a video that was recorded on the brother's channel, and that's recorded from another channel. So, if that makes sense, here we go.
They caused. Leave that aside.
All right. And we have nothing to do with Islam, but it seems like this is a Islamic. Yep.
Here, let me see. Let me get that point really quick, Salakia.
His talking points at this. Let's see here. Thought I had at this particular. Thought I had it here. Let's just get a few things out of the way. Get that out of the way. We can get that out of the way. Get into this. Let's go here.
Approach this magnificent anniversary, we see our American identity under a renewed attack. A generation after we fought and won the Cold War against the menace of communism, there is now a resurgence of the communist menace in our land, including from newcomers to our country who embrace ideas totally opposed to our way of life and our great success. These are not mere political disagreements like differences over taxes or regulations.
So he's defending the American culture. And what exactly is American culture? Ponder upon that. What is it?
It's a death culture. It breeds death, hypocrisy, and all sorts of things, you know.
Communism is a mortal threat to American liberty. It is the greatest threat to our country, including World War I, World War II, Pearl Harbor, or even 9/11.
And I believe the elder mentions, you know, he's using communism as a broad, you know, like a broad statement, you know. And then that's what Esau does. But, you know, that him using the word communist or referring to others as communists, it was always been a ploy. You know, it's ambiguous. It doesn't mean exactly what they're saying. You know, it's just a broad brush. So
we're not going to let this happen to us. Believe me, we're not letting it happen. Because communism is the enemy of free people everywhere in the world. Never works. It's the enemy of the Constitution. Above all, it's the enemy of July 4th, 1776. It is.
See, you got the Antifa, you got the communists, you got the anti-tech. All of these terms are getting ready to be, you know, conjured up, and they're getting ready to make an accusation. Okay?
Is the enemy indeed. Even while the radicals and extremists attack our incredible history at every turn, they are silent on the miserable history of communism itself because it never worked. Thousands of years, if you look at it, under different.
So they're coming after people who are attacking how this place was built. Okay, that's a big part of, you know, his presidency. Okay, because there's a shameful spewing on Babylon the Great.
There we go.
So again, they're getting ready to make it illegal to talk about them, and there's going to be some severe, harsh consequences for those who come against Babylon, who come against the data centers, that come against AI, that come against tech, all of that. Okay? Two horns like a lamb are getting ready to speak as a dragon.
Names under somewhat different ideologies and systems. That system has led to more death and destruction than any system ever tried. It killed 100 million people just in the last century alone. Communism is the exact opposite of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's death, tyranny, and the pursuit of evil. The godless communist morality states that anything is justified to bring about inhuman visions and to really propose what's good. They don't want good. They don't love God, and they don't want God. They don't love religion, and they don't want religion, and they won't have it. But we will not let them win. They have no chance against us. They have no respect for law, justice, principle, tradition, or your God-given rights. It's an ideology of mass theft, mass control, mass lies, and mass murder. Such doctrines can be given no quarter in a democracy because the first thing they do when they get into power is turn around and destroy it. It always is destroyed, just as communists have done in other countries all over the world, no matter where you look. Very simply, communism represents the worst ideas and abuses in history by the worst people. The American founding represents the best ideas and traditions in history by the best people, like you. You can be loyal.
And as you can see, the tie he has on now is purple. Okay, usually it's red, you know, representing the Republican Party. But we're coming into a point where they're merging. Okay, if you merge blue and red, you get purple. Okay,
To Carl.
because they're getting ready to do away with both parties and bring in that technocracy.
Yeah.
All right, but they have to paint people as boogeymen. They have to, basically, as Trump said, we have to give up our civil liberties. All right, you must trade your liberty for safety because we have too many people in our country against us.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
Marx, or you can be loyal to America. You can be a communist, or you can be a patriot. You cannot be both. As for those who peddle Marxist lies about our heritage, who tell our children that we live on stolen land or that our heroes were oppressors, they're doing something much worse than slandering our past. They are slandering and attacking our future. I'm not going to let that happen.
So Esau Edom is tapping back into that pride. He's getting back into that, you know, that spirit, that colonial, you know, which they never left it, but they hid it. Okay, but this guy right here, Nero, represents a resurgence of that, and we're not ashamed of our history. We're not ashamed of being white anymore. We're tired of being shamed. We're tired of people, you know, Esau's just tired, right?
They're trying to tear down the great American character, to destroy the people who declared independence, who crossed the Delaware, who settled the West, and conquered the skies. You know who those people are. But we will never let that happen. Our American ancestors did not shed their blood at Concord and Trenton, Gettysburg and Shiloh, Midway and Normandy, just so that a band of thieves, radicals, and lunatics could come in and loot, pillage our nation. Our heroes died to win, build, and to save, and to build truly a great country, the greatest country ever in the world.
See, what's happening is, all right, the vow, let's get that scripture.
Right. So as you can see, it's somewhat of a declaration, you know, against those that speak against, you know, the ills that were done. All right, and that's why this place is on its way out. Okay, and that's Esau's response to the Lord's reproach. You know, this perpetual reproach, this shameful spewing, you know, upon their glory. All right. So let me get I think it was Sirach 41 really quick. Ecclesiasticus. So I ain't got my mouse. So it's a little bit difficult. So 41. All right. And 6. And it reads, it says, the inheritance of sinners, children shall perish. Okay? And their posterity, meaning what their lineage, all right, or their genealogy. Excuse me. Let's do this. Posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. Okay, so let's do this. Okay. Posterity, the word for posterity. What just happened? Oh. Is what? Descendants. Okay, a person's offspring. Right? So going back here, the inheritance of sinners, children shall perish. All right. So their inheritance was what? America, as we know it, you know, and they're trying to make it great again, which meaning when it was great is when they had us, you know, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in subjection and had us in fear day and night, you know. So, and their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. Okay, and a perpetual is everlasting. A reproach is a correction. You know, and their response, okay, is to go after those and puff at those who speak up because of the oppression. All right, right. For reproach is rebuke, blame. All right, censor, object of scorn and contempt, or contempt, disgrace, state of disgrace, because it is a disgrace. This place and how they have, gotten their riches, right? is a complete and utter disgrace, right? And they know it, and they pride themselves on it, all right? Let's see here. Let's get Psalms 37. And I just have a few more, man. And then I'm going to close out. 37 and let's see here. (37:10). Psalms 37:10. It says, "For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth, all right, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace." That's the elect. "The wicked plotteth against the just," all right, and that's what's happening, "and gnasheth upon him with his teeth." See, it's like the Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. So the Lord is laughing right now, right? Although he's going to make his move. And again, this is a game of chess between what? Esau and the Lord. But the Lord has already won, you know? And no matter what move they make, all right, the outcome is already set. It's predetermined. See? So, but Esau is going to go out screaming and kicking and killing and murdering and taking everybody who he can down, right? The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth, for he seeth that his day is coming. The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be of upright conversation. See, this is upright, you know, speaking about the ills that were done to us and the evil that was done to us, all right, and the advantages that these people have gotten because of, you know, the things that they have done. Okay, that's a righteous thing, and the scriptures talk about that. It's a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble thee. Okay, so it's a righteous thing with the Most High. Let me see. Um, so let's see here. Right, it's a righteous thing with God. Let's see. All right, so it's like 2 Thessalonians 1:6. It says, seeing it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. Right? So it's a righteous thing. Us crying out about the oppressions and the evil that it was done to us is a righteous thing. Right? But Esau being plagued, he's being grieved at, the cries. Right? 2 Thessalonians 1:6. It says, in his justice, he will pay back those who persecute you. All right? He's going to pay Esau back for the crimes that he's committed in his past, and he's going to pay him back, all right, for the things that he's about to do in the near future. All right. Ecclesiastes 10:8. I'm gonna close in a second. It's because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. You see, so you're on your way out. All right, because of the ill and and we know the scriptures say he speak evil concerning which the elder went into actually in his video. They speak wickedly concerning oppression, right? Which it says here, right? I started at verse 6, Psalms 37, 73 and 6. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. You see, because what they got, they're looking to take over all the riches in the earth. All right, and they're dressed, and they're covered in pride, right? That's who they're presenting themselves as these violent, you know, and that's what it means. The pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. So they put on the garbs of violence. You see, their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. Right. And you see, Trump became he made billions of dollars based off on crypto this year alone. You see, and they have everything their heart could wish. But they're so grieved at the poor because of the truth, right? And at the end of the day, it's the Lord. It's this the spirit of the Lord's mouth, as it says in 2 Thessalonians 2. It says they are corrupt, verse 8, and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily, meaning they're arrogant. They speak down on everyone else, and what he did was just put America in this light, to where they can't do wrong, you know, and they're willing to lie even more to keep, the illusion of, their legacy squeaky clean, and that's just not what it is, buddy. You know, so Esau's descendants, they're being perpetually reproached, and there's absolutely nothing they can do about it. All right, and the truth coming out is grievous. It's grievous to them. And so in response is that they're going to go after everybody that speaks uprightly against, that speaks about the oppressive nature of the so-called white man and how they obtain America, which we don't want America. Keep it. You can hold on to it as long as you like. All right. Well, we know what's going to happen to those who hold on to this place. Okay. Check this out. See, because Esau has pretty much cursed his own people. He cursed, himself. This is Proverbs 13:22. And I just got a few more and then I'm going to close. Proverbs 13:22. And it reads, it says, a good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children. And the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. That's right. So in the scripture say you're going to restore all, you see, according in the scripture say, according to the substance shall the restitution be. You're going to have to pay back everything and double. Okay. All right. So what legacy, what inheritance did did Esau leave his descendants? Right. He left them an ill, a bad reputation, a bad inheritance, which is pretty much destruction, a curse. You see, and it's going to be bad for them, man. Right. So let's go Proverbs chapter 10 and 7, and it reads, it says, the memory of the just is blessed, but the name of the wicked shall rot. See? And their name is rotting away as we speak, and they're trying to preserve it, which they're not going to be able to, and that's on them. They got to deal with that. All right. They got to deal with that. All right. Scriptures say they hold themselves not guilty. All right. That's Zechariah 11:5. I believe, the elder came out with that one too. Oops. 11:5. All right. I'll just read that one. This will be the last one. This is Zechariah 11:5. And it says, whose oppressors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, Yahweh, for I am rich. And their own shepherds pity them not. See? So our possessors, they don't hold themselves guilty. All right. They continue to what? To masquerade themselves as if they're perfect and everything that they've gotten is through, righteous merit. And that's just not the truth, you know. So they're really mad at the Lord's reproach against them. All right. And their response is to, kill everybody and go after everybody and try to detain everybody and, and take them away, which that's not gonna to take away the nightmare, which is gonna be a reality that you're gonna have to face. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. Until next time, I say shalom.